Another asymmetrical horror game has hit the streets, and it is Klowns From Outer Space. And you might be wondering if this one is worth its $40 price tag. Or are you going to be left looking like a silly little clown buying a game that will fall off in 2 months? So tag along with me as we go over the good and the bad, and then we will summarize with the final verdict. And remember, this is just my opinion. Think for yourself, people. The first huge pro for this game is that it's great to play casually. A huge request in the asymmetrical horror genre has been a game that is just meant to be fun and isn't ruined by the competitive aspect. Now, let me say that of course there will always be people trying to play great at every game, but the overall game makes it so that it's hard to take serious and enjoyable no matter how you want to play. With a 3v7 match, 3 clowns and 7 humans, you can't really expect to kill all the survivors, or you can't expect to escape every time. The game has a very arcadey feel to it that is very relaxed and enjoyable with friends or randoms you meet online. Out of all the asymmetrical horror games, this one is more comparable with F13, but even more relaxed than that. It's quite the opposite of the more rigid Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was built to be more simulated to the movie. In this game, the humans can actually fight back and kill the clowns. And if you're worried about it being way too easy for the humans because of that, well, thankfully the clowns do respawn after 45 seconds, allowing for a small breather for the humans so that it's not just an easy win. On top of that, the humans also have opportunities to respawn if killed or captured early. And if you are spectating, you can still help your team by playing little mini games in order to give your teammates items that can potentially save their lives. This game has a progression system that isn't super complicated, where you have to solve clues left from the Zodiac killer in order to solve puzzles so that you can run slightly faster while becoming weaker. It is actually very simple and straight to the point. Basically, if you want to unlock stuff, you just play the game and unlock more. That's basically it. Now, before I roast the shit out of this game for its shortcomings, make sure to subscribe. You'll stay updated on videos like this as well as other killer clown content. Thank you, and now, first con is the game does have little guidance in the beginning. At least for me personally, I did not know what to do at all. Once you play the game for a few hours or with somebody that knows what they're doing, you will probably be fine. This isn't something that I'm taking into heavy consideration because maybe it's just me being dumb and I just need a tutorial. Which wouldn't be a bad thing to add, is all I'm saying, killer clowns. The next thing is the repetitive aspect. Yes, there is a learning curve to the game, but once it's understood, you got it. Really, just as every asymmetrical horror game is, there's really only ever one game mode and one objective for both sides. So basically there's kind of 2 game modes for the 2 different sides. But unless you're going to really enjoy both of those, you probably will get tired of the game pretty fast. I personally love to grind these type of games, but I do know that most people do not. I honestly do feel like out of all the asymmetrical games so far, this one kind of really does feel the least repetitive. Maybe I just haven't hit that part of the game yet, but overall it seems like there's kind of a lot, and on top of that, the game randomizing between clown and human I feel like is a very great twist, as you actually get to mix it up between human and the clown, versus I feel most people will stick to one and tend to get tired of these games because of that. Now, my biggest con for this game is the current price tag. If it was $20, I would recommend it to all of my friends, everybody I know, but a $40 price tag for a game that I couldn't guarantee would have you coming back for months to years is hard to sell. This of course has nothing to do with the overall judgment of the gameplay, but in terms of if it's worth it, it depends. Once again, half off? Yes, 100%, but I don't want people to spend $40 for something that you might not play after 1 month, especially when there might be better options for you out there. Especially in this economy, you need every dollar you can save. You know the type of games you like, so if you like these asymmetrical games like TCM, and especially games like F13, then yes, get it. On top of that, if you can get friends to play this game, I believe you can have some all-time moments on this game that are worth more than the $40. And for that, I would 1000% recommend getting it. For somebody planning on just solo queuing, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Unless you plan on using proximity chat to talk to randoms, I think you'll be missing a huge part of the game. But if you are someone who likes to stay to yourself and not really talk much, then this game might get old pretty quickly. A huge aspect for these asymmetrical horror games, in my opinion, is the social aspect. Without it, to me, these games lose a huge chunk of their value. Before I get to the final verdict, moving back to the pros, the game did literally just come out, but overall I think it runs great. There are still some small bugs I've encountered, but the lobbies have been running very smoothly, which for how games have been releasing these days, this is very impressive, and definitely a very good look on the developers. Now finally, for the verdict. In the mind of the public, the game is unfortunately a little tarnished already due to the history of these collapsed asymmetrical horror games, and I already know no matter what I say in this video, a lot of people will still remain skeptical. But I would say this game is about a mid-7. So overall, I would recommend it to most people despite the $40 price tag. Now, the price tag did not affect the score at all. Even if the game was free, this would be the score. In summary, I feel like the game is good because it was able to execute on a fun game that isn't going to be taken too serious. wise. On top of that, everything is running very smooth and the game isn't having any issues that are just a nuisance. I do feel like this game does get repetitive and I don't see a lot of replayability in it. I mainly see it as a game that I will probably be visiting periodically. Now, as most games are nowadays, they don't release in their final form, either for the better or worse. Once the game is about a year old, I will be back here to give another final verdict. Since it is new, we still have yet to see how they're going to maintain the game, while also adding new content to keep it fresh. Hope to see you guys in that video. Till next time, love ya, see ya.